What I'm here to talk about is privacy versus security. I know it's a security conference, but I spent the past decade building computational analytics for the US intelligence community. And I guess there's some irony that I'm here to talk about privacy coming from that community. But the reality is that the world's kind of changed very quickly in that we're starting to see this whole new group of analytics that are machine learning, deep learning based. And we're seeing that Silicon Valley is driving the community, meaning startups, to start learning more about all of you and everything that you're using. Tim Cook had a really good quote here, is that these companies are starting to look at your personal information, and that's how they're monetizing. That's how they're going to market, is using information about you to give you something. And they call it innovation, and I call it invasion. And they like to call it relationships. They're going to build a relationship with you. Except Alexa. Alexa just yells at my son. It's not a very good relationship right now. But if you look at the numbers, they're staggering how many people they can communicate with. 56% of the media from a mobile perspective is controlled by Google and Facebook right now. And so what they're starting to do is you're seeing these open source frameworks come out. And the reason they're doing that is they can't build analytics fast enough to build a deeper relationship with you, to knowing what you want to buy, where you want to be, who do you want to sleep with, what type of drink do you want. They want to know all that information as fast as possible, and they can't build it fast enough. And so they're open sourcing frameworks like TensorFlow or CNTK. And the idea is, if you look at the commits on the bottom here, they're going up fast. And the reason is that they know that these engineers aren't necessarily equipped to understand the implications as they build these models, but they can buy them. And when they can buy companies very quickly to start learning about people, the VCs get involved. I don't know how many VCs are here, but I mean, that's what you go on, right? You go on the market bias. So they started investing. If you look at the keywords, here, they're just investing in these companies. And if you look at the overall investment over time, look at that, staggering. Just look at the change from 2014 to 2016, the amount of investment in artificial intelligence. And the idea here is this. Just in 2016, look at these companies, Google, Apple, Samsung, buying up AI, machine learning-based companies. And why that's a problem, how does this impact privacy? Like, why am I even up here? This is crazy, right? Well, the Microsoft court case in Ireland, so we call it the Microsoft Ireland case, set an archaic result, which is we're going to define the legality, the sovereignty of data based on where it rests. And the problem is in machine learning especially, is that we're a global economy now. The data and the analytics are going to be where the user is. It's on the edge. You're going to hear a lot about IoT and all the security, and it's not my world. But the idea is as we develop these analytics, we need to push it forward. What I learned in Baghdad way back when data science wasn't even a word, it was just applied math, and we had drones, we had sensors on the ground, was we couldn't push everything back to the United States. We had to push real-time analytics forward onto the edge, utilizing insane infrastructure that we piecemeal together. And that's what's happening with AI, is that it's all global. And so countries can't protect their citizens. Regulators can't protect consumers because it's pushed to the edge and it's any country. And so we're going to have to create a series of treaties. And those are going to take years to be able to engage. And by that time, your privacy's already changed, right? Technology's moving way too fast. So if you look at a basic neural model here, is that within these hidden layers, you have no clue what's going on. It's making arbitrary decisions based on the data that's being input. And we have no way to insert ourselves as regulators. So the problem is, if you look at derived sources from, let's say, 3 parent sources from 3 different countries, and then you create derived sources out of that, chain of custody is broken. And so the model just doesn't work. And so to just kind of close up here, because I only have 5 minutes, this is like a shameless plug, but the idea here is that we need a new metadata management model. And we need to be able to track the origins of sources to all organizations. And these shouldn't be countries that manage this. This should be third-party organizations that consumers can engage with and have a conversation with as to how their data is being used if they want to opt out. And I like to call that like a metadata administration server. And use tokens, and tokens that can describe analytics as well as the core metadata. So what is the use of that data within that organization? And then we can pull that data out, that token away if a consumer wants. And the idea is, if you think from a social network down, consumers can integrate with the metadata token administrator, say, hey, I'm not comfortable with my data being used, and then they can, via proxy, start to enforce regulation on top of those networks of data. Happy to talk about it at length, or you can read about some of our blogs, but anyway, thanks for your time, and I know that was really short, but we put a lot of information up there about this concept, so thank you.